All right, all right. What's going on, party people? This is your man Griff here with a great interview. And we just gonna hop right on into it and we're gonna have Gary get us started. So let me bring him in and we're just gonna do it a little different today because y'all have had him here before. Y'all heard him talk, and we're just gonna hop right on in and allow him to share straight. And I got some questions for him as always. I got a few questions and everything. So I know we got people coming in. We're gonna let them come in, but we're just gonna chop it up right here real quick and just give us a quick background on you because you have this new book about general notary services, and it's very much needed in the industry to help people understand that aspect of the business. So to help people understand what brought you to this point, give us a little background about yourself.
Well, my name is Gary Pierre-Louis. Thank you for having me on, Griff. It's always a pleasure as usual. The reason I wanted to, what got me to the point of the book, just reverse engineering that a little bit. I first wanted to, I incorporated a business, at the time it was called GPL Consulting. I came from a background of entrepreneurs, so I had entrepreneurship in my blood from a very early age. My father had a whole bunch of different types of businesses from the age of 14. So I'd like to say it's in my blood. So, he was really an advocate for education. So, I got my high school degree, I got my college degree, and at that point, it was about finding a job, a 9-to-5 job. But the way he always positioned it was, Gary, go find a great 9-to-5 jobs, find great jobs, but pick up these skills. It was never like he never positioned it like this was my final destination, and that always resonated with me because I was always wanting to find that great job where I could develop deep skill sets. And fast forwarding to today, about 10 years ago, when I wanted to actually put some wheels on this, I just really didn't know what that business would be that would allow me to just, really consult people. I mean, that's really what I wanted to do from the get go. Just really consult people in the area of business. I just didn't know what my niche would be. I had the privilege in 2017 of having my house refinanced. I had a wonderful lady that did that job. She was a notary closer. We had a great conversation, and from that day to this day, that's when everything in between filled in, and I was able to really become an expert in the general notary space as well as the loan signing space. And I really knew that's what I needed to do in order to start my signing service company. Through doing my signing service company, I uncovered that general notary is a huge piece of this, and I need to really develop systems and strategies to really incorporate that piece as well. So at that time, once I've developed all those strategies, I went through the pain points of really learning this business and the joy of putting everything together. And now came to a point where I'm like, how do I teach other people how to do what I just did? So shortly after, I put out 2 books. The first book being Signing Service Secrets Revealed. And then now I have the privilege of putting out General Notary Work Secrets Revealed. But I had them both written at the same time. My end goal there was really just to make sure that people had sources available to them if they really want to learn this business and really scale their business.
Got you. That's perfect, man. That's perfect. So, oh man, I know you've been on, I guess you could say, almost a semi Oprah book tour of and everything and all of that. So that is good. And I wanted people to have a general idea of who you are, what your background is, because and it's and it's a purpose behind that, because and you talked about it a little bit in with Samantha last night about people having the opportunity to go out here and create go and do something different, write a book and all of that. But what's different is because I think you've been in the business for about 4 or 5 years, right? A little bit more.
Well, the aspect of having a signing service company and really putting that piece together. But I've been in banking for about a decade. So as a
Right.
banker, you needed to be commissioned as a notary, and I did it for the bank. But I never knew this end of the business where you
Right.
could just do it as your own business and really do it as a mobile notary and a loan signing agent. I didn't know that aspect. I just did it for the bank.
Right. But at the same time, by you being a notary, you learned the core part of general notary work, which is notarizing documents properly in
Yes,
accordance with your
yes,
state law. So that means you have some experience in it. And
yes.
the reason why I wanted you to give your background is because so that people, when they read this book, they'll know that it's not coming from a novice.
Mm.
That is the most important, because in our industry, and if y'all follow my channel, y'all know I talk about that a lot, about how so many people are just hopping out and they're putting out content, but they don't have a whole lot of experience, and they're just sharing from their experience from a small view. And what I love about the books that you're putting out there is that you've actually invested time in putting some feet to it and getting yourself well versed in that particular part of the industry. And then you're like, okay, now that I've learned, now let me share.
Yeah, right, right, Griffin. And to that point, Samantha actually posed a really great question about she got into mentorship, and I was really excited about that question because even when I was in the banking world, I did seek a mentor in the banking industry, and at the time he was like a senior banker that was once a branch manager. So in the bank, and so he really brought a wealth of knowledge as a banker, and he worked in different capacities. So he was my mentor, and I wanted to be like him when I first got into banking over a decade ago. So I've had the privilege, under his tutelage, to be not a banker, a senior banker, an assistant manager, and I've also, through my tenure as a banker, did work in multiple capacities as a mortgage banker, where I actually originated loans. And I did that on and off in different capacities for over a decade. So it just really gave me a nice lens of this business, this space, and having the opportunity now to do it as a loan closer, a mobile closer, and now a signing service company owner. I'm able to look at this business from a high level overview and really see what I could add to this notary family, so I could just really help and educate people to bring their businesses to another level.
And that is correct. So basically that's leads me into my next question as to what prompted you, the main thing that prompted you to write the book for General Notary Services.
Because I felt like, and this is the exact feeling I felt for. There's no coincidence why I have both these books out. I felt like that there was a space where people wanted to know, really how to get general notary work. Not just know how to get general notary work, but how to find it, how to price it, and just how to scale their businesses with it. I felt like the information that I was seeing out there, that you could find that information, but I felt like it was very fragmented. It wasn't just one source you could go to that says, look, here's what this business is about. Here's how you go find it. Here's how you go price it. And here's how you go scale your overall operations. I did not find that source. So I wanted to be that source for this industry and really putting together a piece of literature that really helped people just really scale this operations. I find that it's people don't talk about it as much. I mentioned on another show, I guess it's not as sexy as loan closings. I don't know why, because there's just a wealth of opportunities in the space. I mean, for everybody that doesn't know what general notary work is, which I'm sure you do, it's everything that's not loan signings. So that's a huge area of opportunities that we tapped into. I mean, you're talking about power of attorney documents, trust documents, healthcare documents, auto related documents, and a lot more. Now, with these different names I just brought, that's just a fraction of what that's out there. But now, if you reverse engineer it, who are the people that are responsible for needing these type of documents notarized? You talk about trust documents, right? Lawyers are the ones that are putting these documents together. So wouldn't it be behoove somebody to create relationships with these lawyers so they could take advantage of those opportunities? So that's really why I really put together this book, because I feel like if somebody were to just tap into this aspect of the business and treat it just like their loan signing, and just add another tool to your drawer to make you successful, it could really open up a lot of doors.
Sorry about to have myself on mute there. And that is perfect, because that's one of the things. My first actual thing that I did was I was at work and somebody drove to my job thinking that it was a bank because there was an ATM, and it used to be a bank, the office where I was at. The lady at the front desk said, well, I know we have a notary here, ran in the back of the building, came and got me. I went out there and made a quick, I think $15, $30. real quick, like, because they needed this document notarized. And I was like, okay, I didn't know who these people were. They showed me the IDs. I got them done, and it grew from there. And I was like, okay, cool. I just made $30
Right.
doing this. I'm like, there was 3 signatures for her, 3 for him that needed to be notarized. I did it, and I made $30, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And even so much that one of my first big opportunities, and I still have the physical check from that because I did a mobile deposit so I could keep the check, was I made $80, and I probably could have made more, but I was just excited just to get the opportunity. I was doing Grubhub, delivering some food to this lady,
Hello.
and where I had to go at was in a deep part of the Hampton Roads area where a lot of people
Okay,
don't
I
like
can
to
hear you.
travel.
Can hear you.
Okay, hold on one
Hello.
second. Let me double check. Check one, check one. Yeah, okay. It might be on your end.
Hello.
Yeah. Hop out and hop back in.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear
You
you.
hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Hello.
How about now? Yep, I can hear you. I can hear you. All right, people in the chat, can y'all hear me? Y'all should be able to hear both of us. Can y'all hear me in the chat? All right, he's going to hop back in. He might be having a technical difficulty. Okay, so the chat can hear me. Y'all can hear me. So he's going to hop back out. So with the General Notary Work, while he's coming back in, okay, so y'all can hear both. He just couldn't hear me. Got it. Okay, so let me text him real quick. Oh, he's popping back in. All right, cool. All right, but you good now?
Yeah, we're good. I got a phone call. Just threw everything off.
Okay, everything kept throwing off. So yeah, so with the and this is about a little bit about marketing, and then we're gonna go to the next question. And the next question is what has your experience been with General Notary Work? And that's why I'm sharing this story, and then you can answer that question. But one of the big orders that I had was a lady had a trust document for her and her husband, and they had it for 2 years. And the only thing that didn't make it valid was they hadn't had time to get it notarized. But the attorney made it for them, and they had these 2 binders, big old thick binders of all of this trust document, a set of documents for her, a set of documents for him, and then they had to have 2 witnesses. And to be honest, and that was one of I didn't know anything about pricing. I probably could have made about $300 off of that.
At the least.
Yeah.
From what you're telling me, from those packages seem pretty hefty.
Oh yeah, it was hefty, and it was notarizing her signature, then her witness's signature on a set of documents, and then had her and him on certain ones, and then it reversed to where it was primarily his signature, and then there was certain parts for her, and then the witnesses had, and we was there for about maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And the way I got the order was this: I'm at the door delivering her food for Grubhub, and she couldn't see my car. I had a magnetic sign on the car about notary services. And she said, well, I'm glad that you came down this way. And I said, well, ma'am, I'm always down here. Not really, but I'm just, I said, yeah, I'm always down here doing my notary stuff. And she said, notary? Oh, we need a notary. I said, you do? Yeah. Give me your card. Bam. Like the Tommy Davidson on Living Color. Bam. I had that card. And she was like, I'm going to give you a call. Now, honestly, I was thinking that I wasn't going to hear anything from her. About a week later, she said, yeah, we want to do this. And then about 3 days later, can you come over? I was like, I'll be there. And I went over there, sat down with her and her husband, and got it done. And I'm like, man, this is cool.
Yes.
This is cool. I'm like, and this is before I even did, before I ever really got into doing any loan closings. And I was like, okay, people really do need notary. And then I have a client, they're putting together a marijuana dispensary. And every couple of months, they need documents notarized, and they have it notarized a lot of times in triplicates. So all three people got 3 documents each. And for Virginia, it's $5 a stamp.
Not bad.
So they have already told me, they say, hey, you're our go-to notary. And I'm like, bet. I said, you just call me. And then in 90, I would say 99% of the time, I have to meet with them on a Sunday because that's the only time that they're available. Because other notaries in my area that they may know don't want to come and meet them on a Sunday.
Right.
So I make that. So what has your experience been with General Notary Work?
It was just that. It was just an eye-opening experience because I mean, let's be honest, nobody really when they get into space, you're almost like how would I put it? Like bombarded with so much loan signing information, and you don't get a lot of that general notary being spoken to you. So my expectations was that there wasn't going to be that many opportunities. You know, I had to find out myself through doing the work that those opportunities were there. When I did my first general notary work assignment, I was really blown away with just the ease of it. I mean, because there was no documents that you needed to print out, right? You know, the customer had these documents. Typically on these appointments, you know, you do get those seismic deals that you've had, but some of them are just like, you know, there's just a customer that just wants 1, 2, 3 documents notarized. You're in, you're out. It takes no more than 15 or 20 minutes of your time.
That's
and
correct.
You have great conversations with great people, really, you know. And I just guess the narrative has been there isn't really money to be made with it. You know, that's why people aren't doing it as much. But you said in the state, in your state, you know, you could charge $5 per stamp. And if you're in a state where you could also charge for travel related fees, you know, you could really just start to do the math and see how you know, you as a witness, you're charging for that. You know how these things could add up. You know, I fell in love with this business, literally fell in love with the general notary work aspect of the business. I mean, honestly, when I first started doing it and wanted to really scale it to a signing service company, I was almost wanting to niche it to the point where I just did just general notary and not loan signings. But because there was a lot of business at that time that I was getting for general notary. And I'm glad I'm able to do both, but it's just a great opportunity to general notary work, especially when you're coupling it with other applications, which I do talk about in my book.
Right.
You know, there's great apps out there like Thumbtack. You know, it has a range of different reviews because, you know, you do have to pay to get leads. But I mean, I'm all about, you know, using free applications and using pay for play applications where, you know, if what you're paying is very rewarding and you do your math on it and it makes sense, go for it. I find that I found that what they charge per lead is very fair, and you can really scale your general notary applications by using some of these different applications. You know, it's just really cool if you just start rolling with it that way. Even Google My Business is another application I talk about in my book, which really you know, is being talked about, but people don't realize once you sign up for Google My Business, you're out there in the public eye. You know, you're out there, so you're not going to just be getting loan signing opportunities. You know, you're going to be getting a lot of general notary work opportunities as well. So you want to be ready for those.
Correct. And that's the key thing. You know, you do want to be ready because the difference is you may get a general notary work opportunity and it's just a document. And you got to know whether you're supposed to add a jurat or a regular acknowledgement. You see, you got to know, and then to go even further, it may be a corporate situation where you have to have a corporate jurat, which identifies the company and the person's actual position in the company. So you need to know that, and that's where, to me, the NNA is a good resource because they have those different acknowledgments per state. So if there's a corporate situation there where there's a LLC, a manager of an LLC doing something, you can pull that particular item out. So in your experience, what has been the most common and lucrative types of general notary work assignments that you've seen?
Power of attorney documents, trust documents.
Gotcha.
Those and healthcare. I'm sorry, let's not forget that. The healthcare related documents. Those three, with that alone, there's a lot of opportunities. At least I'm in New Jersey, in the state of New Jersey, I found that there's been a lot of opportunities with those 3 documents alone. I mean, in my state, New Jersey, there's more people that need this service than there are people that are going to them completing these assignments. They're begging
Yes.
for mobile notary closers to come to their house and really get this work done. I'd mentioned in the last show I was on, like I really have to now I have the privilege of I'm scheduling a lot of these assignments out to my team, but when I was doing it, I had to really try hard not to get $500 or $1,000 a week. Try hard, because the demand was really there for people that were looking for mobile notary closers to come to them. People
Right.
don't want to travel to groups to banks.
Mm-hmm.
People, it's late at night. They don't want to. They just want the convenience of somebody coming to them and taking care of these private documents. I mean, you saw the names I gave you, the power of attorney documents. These are sensitive
Right.
documents. They don't want to go to the bank with that. So for somebody that wants to add this piece to their pie, it could be very fruitful.
Right. And see, even it was so for me, wonderful. I had a couple of signings on Thursday. So on Thursday, I had a couple of signings. One was sort of it wasn't a last minute, it came up out of nowhere early in the day for 6 p.m. Thursday. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take care of that one. I'm walking out the door, and then I get a phone call. Well, I got a text message that somebody said, hey, this person told me to get with you to get some documents notarized. So I'm thinking it was a loan closing, and the name that they gave me, I don't recognize. So I was like, okay, I don't know who this person is, but I text them back, and then and I called them. I said, well, instead of texting, I'm gonna call them and see what's going on. The guy said, yeah, this person told me to get with you, and I'm like, okay, what do you need? They said, I need a will done. So there's apparently somebody at the hospital needed a will done. I said, okay, no problem. Now, my basic fee is just $20 to travel, because in Virginia, you can charge whatever you want for travel.
Nice.
And for each time you stamp, and this is the thing with Virginia, we don't do it per signature. So if you have 3 signatures on the thing, but you only putting that stamp down once, that's $5. So it's $5 for each time you hit that stamp. So I tell people that, and I say, okay, well, it's $5 for each time I stamp, $20 travel fee. I said, so depending on how the document is laid out, because some documents will be laid out where you're notarizing everybody's stuff in one statement, or you'll have a statement for the person who's signing the will, and then a separate statement for the 2 witnesses, or sometimes a separate statement for each witness. So that means that's going to be between $5 and $15 that I'm charging for the stamping, and then $20 travel fee. I said, so you're talking about between $25 and $35, maybe $40, depending on how it works. He said, no problem. Get there, get them taken care of, no issues. And instead of me getting $25, because it was only one stamp, they paid me $110.
Right.
So the gentleman who was in the hospital, they redid a will. They showed me the original will. The attorney put together a new will for him, and his daughter paid me $60. And then the guy who called me said, give me your cash app, and threw another $50 on it. And I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask. And see, this is one of the things I love about General Notary Work, is that you don't have to necessarily ask for a tip. If you go out there and you do good work, and you meet them at a point of pain in their life to alleviate that pain, they, out of the kindness of their heart, would do it. Because I had another power of attorney that I took my son on to be a witness, and the lady was like, and she asked me, said, why do notaries charge so much for just a simple document? And it was only one signature. And she's like, why are they charging me $500 just for this one signature? And I said, that's just what they want to do. And I get that we can charge a whole lot, but I'm like, okay, if I could have charged $300-400 for that trust that had way more signatures, in my own heart and mind, what's the justification of charging basically the same amount for one signature and a 15-minute drive? That's, bless you, buddy. That's where it's at with me. So feel free to answer that or add on to that what I just said. And then the next question is, what are some of the best marketing strategies to gain general notary work?
Okay, no, I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. It's so true. I forgot totally about the tipping aspect. I get a lot of tips doing this business, doing general notary work as well. These people really appreciate the convenience of you really traveling to, whether it be a nursing home or the place that they agree to meet you at, or the agreed upon location, because you're really easy. You really making it easy for them and making it very convenient for them, and they're appreciative of it. So you do get a lot of tips for this business as well. I really forgot to mention that piece. But what do I do? What do I do as far as marketing for these kind of relationships? As I tried to allude to that earlier, I reverse engineer it. I look to see one, where where's the work coming from? You know what I mean? So like, we mentioned the trust documents. I know a lot of those trust documents, they're furnished by lawyers. If these customers aren't, I mean, you'll get some that go online and they have like these different types of softwares where they can furnish a lot of these trust documents, but it's some of these people still will ask you to go ahead and notarize that document as well. But with the trust documents, which are typically furnished by lawyers, create partnerships with lawyers in your area. That's a great opportunity area. Because when they have their clients and they're looking for somebody to notarize these documents, you already have a partnership. And just
Mhm.
start building there. And there's also, as far as power of attorney documents, with that, there is not no any, let's say, one source in particular that you could go to start saying, okay, let me just build upon there. But there is a way where you could kind of like put a whole web on, just putting yourself out there as a general
Right.
notary work expert, where you're putting yourself on platforms like Google My Business. You're putting yourself on platforms like uh what's another one? Nextdoor app.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on that one
Nextdoor app. Especially if you want to work within your typically, people
in
want to
your
work
community.
in their community, in their footprint for this kind of work. You don't want to travel 1 hour for a general notary work assignment. So
Right.
applications like Nextdoor and Thumbtack are definitely tools that you can put in your tool chest to really market yourself, put yourself out there, and market to these people that are going to be giving you this business. And in my book, I do mention quite a few others, but definitely, you just really want to and just start Googling it.
Yeah.
Look, general notary work is anything that's not loan signing oriented. So that's a plethora of different documents that could be notarized. Find out who's furnishing these documents. Who's giving these documents to these customers, and
Correct.
start marketing to these guys.
Yeah, and one of the and just want to also shout out that we also doing live on Facebook. So we got this pushing through Facebook and everything. So thanks everybody on Facebook. We see you and everything. Thanks for joining on Facebook and all of that. So and also got this pushed out on Twitter. Not too many people hop on Twitter and look at us
Yeah,
in order.
I mean, I'm gonna leave that up to you, Griff. That's way over my head. You got this
Yeah,
on
I don't
three
mess.
different
Yeah, I'm
platforms.
on. Yeah, so we're on Twitter just in case somebody happens to just come across the page. But one of the big things is, and what I'm hearing that you're saying, Gary, is that with general notary work and it really across the board with just business, you got to be ready. You have to
Yes.
be ready because you could get it pulled up at any. You could get pulled up on at any time. And I did a video on my channel called "What is a Notary Public." Take time out and look at that video, y'all. Just go to my get on Google, I mean on YouTube and type in Griffin Notary and then what is a notary public. The reason why I'm asking y'all to do that because I share with y'all and I read verbatim what the NNA says a notary public is. And the first thing they say is we're there to notarize important documents. And important documents covers a whole plethora of things because it could like one time I'm at a closing, the lady said, "Can you notarize other documents for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Can't do birth certificates and vital records according to Virginia law, but I can do document." She said, "I had to write a letter to the bank to close an account, and they said it had to be notarized." I was like, "Hand me the letter." I read it over. I already knew who she was because I verified her ID because I was doing a loan closing. I added an all-purpose acknowledgement, which is amazing that there's a lot of notaries out here, even who do strictly loan closing, they don't carry all-purpose acknowledgements or jurats with them,
Right.
which is a 1,000% no-no. You got to have those kind of paperworks with you
Ready.
if you're going to, especially if you're going to be doing general notary work. You got to have that stuff with you. I pulled the acknowledgement out because and then I explained to her the difference between acknowledgement and jurat. She said, nope, I just need an acknowledgement. Did that, boom. And you know what? I didn't even charge her. And the reason why I didn't charge her, because it was cold and I needed some tea. And she was kind enough to give me some tea. And I told her, I said, man, look, you gave me some tea for my throat. I'm good. And she was happy. So, I mean, just to do that, it was like, here you go. And then another where I got some work from, and you're 100% right on the marketing, my chiropractor. I go to him after a year of not going to him. I was having some back problems. And he said, Griff, that's right, you're a notary. He said, look, I got to get called into court sometimes. And there are days where I can't go. So they'll send me an affidavit to sign so that I can say that the medical records are true and factual. And I was like, okay. He said, can you notarize that for me? I said, yeah. So he called me up. I come over to the office. I do the oath with him. I already know him, personally know him, so I don't need to see the ID. Do the oath with him. I sign his stamp. He gives me $5. It's that simple. Every now and then he might have 2 documents that need, so I made $10. And even with him, I don't even charge a travel fee, because I mean, it's literally not that far from me. And they know to give me a call, say, hey, can you come over? They open Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I come over, boom, boom, boom. And it's less than 5 minutes. And I get him taken care of. Well, what does that does for me? If he has other chiropractor friends who need a notary, there's a chance that he's going to tell them, and it makes him feel good that he has somebody that can just come to him, because it was costing him money in his business to leave and go somewhere, even if it was to the UPS store to get the document notarized. And then you got to wait for UPS to go through their other customers just to get to you for a 2-minute notarization. He's like, I like the fact that you can just come to me. I do it. And then some days I'm there getting worked on, and we'll do and do it. So you're right. Marketing is key to let people know that you're out there, but you have to be ready. And one of my favorite sayings, and thanks, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Jones, being a new member to the channel. One of my saying is the best way to market your business is to be ready to do business. And there are a lot of people who market, but when they're asked, and I know you probably come into this, you call them up and say, okay, yeah, I got this assignment. Oh, what, today? Right now? Yeah, I need you to do. Oh, I don't even have a printer yet. Okay, but didn't you reach out to me asking me about work and you want to work in my team? Yeah, okay, and you don't have a printer. Nah, I ain't even got my stamp yet. But you're marketing yourself that you can do business. And that is one of the number one ways to kill your business, when you can't do business, because being a professional that Gary is going to, the next time an order come around, he might not even think about you because the last interaction was you weren't ready.
Right. And I like what you said about, like, being prepared. One of the things, like, with the general notary work space is what was fearful for me when I first started doing these assignments. It wasn't like, with the loan signings where, you did a couple of, like, purchases, you did a couple of refis, you got a good sense of the documents that would be sent to you, provided, different variations. But with everything with general notary work, there's so many different type of documents that you see out there, and I guess that could be very intimidating. It was intimidating for me. But one of the things that helped me was the NNA. They're a great resource. They have a hotline number. I don't know if many people know, where no matter where you are, what state you're in, if you're out there in an appointment and there's a document that you don't understand, you could call it NNA hotline, and they'll literally walk you through that scenario, and that's got to give you confidence, because you're not going out there naked, for lack of a better word. You're going out there with a partner. I mean, not just any partner, the NNA. So you should feel confident that there's not going to be any scenario that you're really going to run into, or any document that you're going to be running into that you're going to be ill prepared. That's not to say that don't do your homework, and make sure you have a good understanding of what most of the documents are by educating yourself on certain literature and different resources that are available for you in your state. But you also have that hotline number that's there for you in the case you
Right.
do run into a little bit of a pickle and you don't know how to handle a particular situation. So that should give somebody a lot of confidence just going into it and just really being prepared for this business.
And with the NNA, you can get a membership with them, a 4-year membership for their hotline for just under $200. So, and I point that out because there are a lot of people that are into the mentorship part, but my thing is you got to have some experience, and you clearly addressed that last night with Samantha about you do have to, which I was the one to ask the question, but
Yeah, that was a good question.
you got to have some experience in being a mentor in order to answer questions, because I've learned straight up off the bat that people do have questions, and if you don't really have any experience out here, what do you end up doing is deferring them, and to pay $200-300 for a mentor a month, and they can't answer your questions when you can pay. And I would say in the beginning, okay, if you can't find a mentor, pay the $200, get the 4-year membership. If you look at yourself being in the business that long with the NNA or with being a notary, and you for $200, you got a 4-year membership with the NNA to ask them questions concerning anything notarial for your state.
And what they
That is
do, the first question they ask is, "What's your name and what state are you in?" Because
right.
they're going to look up resources based on your state.
That is correct. So my last question, and then we want to try to open it up real quick for a few quick questions before you have to roll to your next one, is what are a few things that a notary needs to be solid in order to be successful with general notary work?
Product knowledge. And when I say product knowledge, in this space, being familiar with, and we alluded to it earlier on our call, what are the top documents that you're going to be getting? You know,
Mhm.
which are, in my opinion, in my state, power of attorney documents, medical documents, and also trust documents. You know, look up all these different type of documents and scenarios that you can get yourself into, practice with a friend, and get very familiarized with just how to do these type of different POA documents, these different type of healthcare documents. What are they? How do you fill them out? Are you going to need a jurat? Are you going to need acknowledgement? What are the different variations of them? Find out what all of this stuff is. Educate yourself on that. The more you educate yourself on that, the better you are when you do get those opportunities.
Gotcha. Now, one of the ways, and I just put this here, one of the sites that I go to is Rocket Lawyer. Rocket Lawyer, you can get you a 7-day membership. And let's just say you want to understand how a power of attorney can look in your state. You could get a free membership with them for 7 days and do your own play power of attorney or will or whatever. And it gives you, and I did a video about this, or it's a power of attorney video I have out there where I show people that, where, because one time I was having some issues understanding some stuff about a power of attorney. And I said, well, let me see if I can get one. And everything kept pointing me to Rocket Lawyer. And and basically you can go create your own for your own self. So I said, well, wait a minute, if I can create one for myself, how about I go and see what one would look like for Virginia? And what started me was that there was a young lady who called me, matter of fact, and I think she was either in Texas or Tennessee. And I said, well, I don't know what they look like, so let me go and see what a basic power of attorney for that state would look like. And I went to Rocket Lawyer and made up one on the fly, and they laid it out. And I was like, okay, so they do require a witness, because that was the concern. But that helped me out. Now, it doesn't show you all the different types that you can see, because an attorney can put one together that doesn't need a witness. They could put one together where you're doing a power of attorney and the person who's receiving the power of attorney doesn't need to sign. And I had that one time where the person who's I always forget the term, but the person who's giving the power of attorney, he just needed to sign it and had 2 witnesses, but he was automatically giving it to his son. But his son didn't need to be there for whatever reason, and the attorney put it together. So that's one resource that you can have. Now, for you, Miss I want to say Abdulia, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Nazia, I hope I'm saying that right. You need a mentor, give me a call. Give me a call. I'll put my number in there, and feel free to hit me up. and everything. So I put the link out there if anybody had a quick question, because Gary got to bounce in a minute and everything. But when it comes, but just to piggyback on what you and Samantha was talking about with the mentorship, in this industry, it's very important to have the right mentor. And a lot of people ask me about being their mentor. And the first thing that I always ask them is, where are you trying to go with the business? Because just to have a mentor that you just mimic and follow behind is not really mentorship, because the mentor should be one like you. And I love the way you said it, should be accomplished, should have some experience, just as you identified with your mentor. He was accomplished, experienced, and you already had an idea where you wanted to go. You saw that he was there and you knew that he could point you in the right direction to get you there. It's hard for a mentor to help you get somewhere when you yourself don't know where you want to go.
Right.
That is very hard. You say, well, I just need a mentor. Okay. And most mentors can be very difficult and be hard on you because they're trying to pull out of you
Right.
the stuff that's not right in you, as well as get you to get your mindset changed. So the question always I have is, if you need a mentor, the question is, what are you trying to get mentored in? Do you just want to get a better understanding, or what is it that you're trying to get mentored
Right.
in, so that the mentor can really move you in the right direction, or that mentor can say, you know what, that's my limit. I can only do here. So that's why I'm somewhat opposed to a brand new notary who only has a year of experience trying to sell themselves as a mentor. Because in my opinion, and I might be wrong, you're selling your excitement of the business, because you're excited about the business for your first year and you had some good wins. But do you have any setbacks and losses that you've had to overcome? And if you don't have that, because what I've learned is, and I think you can agree with this, Gary, being a mentor, and between you and your mentor, you had setbacks that he had to help you through.
Right.
Okay, so if you are a person who's saying, I can be your mentor, pay me, and especially the first thing these new mentors are saying is pay me to be your mentor, but they don't have the ability to help you, the mentee, through your trials and tribulation, which can encompass their personal life between them and their spouse and their job and other things. If you as an individual don't have that capacity or mindset to help them navigate that also, so that they can be successful in the notary business, you may not want to be a mentor, because it's more than just showing you how to go and market your business and get direct with a title company. There's other aspects in a person's life that could be affecting them for going out there and doing the notary business into an accessible area. I'll let you finish on what your thoughts on that.
No. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Like, it's not to say that there's not some people that are getting into this space and they're becoming superstars early. They're getting like 500 deals under their belt in a small period, or 1,000 signings under their belt in a small period of time. But it takes time. It takes time to get yourself into a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different put yourself in a lot of different situations that you may not have seen if you earlier on. It takes a while to really win at this business.
Right.
And unless you really provide yourself a true opportunity to really just be patient with it and to really just take on everything that comes at you, you could be serving yourself short and other people short. Because if you're a sports guy, I'm a sports guy. You're talking about the LeBron James of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world. They were superstars in their own right. They were very talented, but they didn't start winning championships right away.
Right.
It took time to really learn the system. Whether it be that system of the coach, it took time for them to learn camaraderie, to learn how to play with their different teammates and different players involved. It took them time to really learn how to win with all these different pieces. And I liken that to our business. We do have relationships that we're trying to grow. We do have systems that you should have a system. You do have a system that you're trying to abide by. So it really takes you a while to really get these things scaling for yourself. So in my opinion, to go to somebody's senior or experience within your state, that would probably be the way to go, because they could really provide you a lot of what their experience has been in a multitude of different situations that could only help you.
That is excellent. And what y'all see on the screen is Gary's book on Amazon, and I'm putting a link in there to it for y'all, and y'all can go get that gentleman's book and make it pop and make it happen to you, for you, because we are there to notarize documents for people for our state, and we are doing a wonderful and great service by being available to do that. And it is a great way to add money into your business. And especially if you're struggling with having the money to buy the printers and all of that to do the loan closings, you can do the general notary work, which
Good
can
point.
bring funds into your household. One of the other things that I talk about a lot on my channel, and I know you can identify with, relate to this, Gary. When you are trying to do a business and you're married or you're dating somebody and they don't quite understand, the number one way to get them to see that what you're trying to do is not crazy is when they see that dollars coming in. When they see the dollars coming in, that lets them know that, oh, you really are making some money. Oh, this thing you're doing does work. Yes, it does. It does work, and because sometimes you got to show people that there is money to be made. And one of the cool things about this is that both of you can get into the business, you and your spouse, and really start making money.
Great point, Griffin. I mean, like, and I am married, and I could definitely vibe with that, because my whole thing was, when I first got started with this, I wanted to show my wife the money, so I could get her buy-in, and once I got that, it was a great thing. But yeah, I wanted the opportunity to really just show her that money could be made with this. And general notary work is one of those things where you just need, like, just some in your briefcase, just some extra acknowledgments, some extra jurats, and it doesn't really require you printing off much of any 150 pages of documents. You just have to be prepared and just knowing what this business is, and then just knowing how to market to it. And in my book, I definitely explain how you could do that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, so that's I'm just putting this over here on the Facebook so that people can.
And you get paid on the spot.
Yeah, again.
You get paid on the spot with this business.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Yeah, you do. You're right. You get paid on the spot, and it's excellent, and people just love the fact that we're able to help them out. So I'm just thrilled that you put this book together, and I know that the people out here will take advantage of it. So I know you got to hop out and everything. So you can go ahead and hop out. I'm gonna stay on for a little bit and continue to talk to the people here and answer any other questions that they may have, because I know you have a 12:30 one. But Gary's link is there for his book. And those of you who are in here, y'all can stay on for me with a little bit, and I'll be more than happy to answer any additional questions for y'all. But again, thanks, Gary. Pierre-Louis, I heard you last night. Louis, it's not Louis, but it's Louis. And in the back of my mind, I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
But we got you, man, and we appreciate everything that you're doing in the community. Also, go to his Instagram, follow him there. GPL Notary, I believe it is, correct?
GPL Mobile Notary
GPL
Services.
Mobile Notary.
Services.
And also look at She Listens LLC, because she did a great interview with him last night on there, and he's talking about some other things that he has coming up. So thank you very much, Gary. You have a good one, man, and be safe out there. And as always, if you need anything from the party people here on Griffin Notary, we got your back.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, buddy.
Everybody.
All right, party people. So as you see, we had a great interview with Gary, Pierre-Louis. And if there's anybody who has a question real quick, like, let me throw the link to join, and you can feel free to ask me any questions about general notary work, because I did see a few questions in there. That's the StreamYard link. Hop on and ask any kind of questions that you may have. And I'll hang on here for a few minutes. And let me throw the link over here on the Facebook side. So if you on Facebook and you want to hop on, you might have to shut down the Facebook once you hop on, so it without no echo. But if you're over there on Facebook listening, I don't know why I'm looking at. Well, I'm looking over here because my Facebook. But for you on Facebook, if you want to hop on and ask some questions, feel free. Now, one of the things that somebody asked and we talked about was about getting the general notary work. One of the things that you need to also do is always be in a mind frame to do the work. So every time I walk into a UPS, FedEx, any shipping place, post office, any of those kind of places, my mindset is always ready. Okay, somebody might need a notary. You always need to have your notary bag with you and your stamp. You always need to have your acknowledgments with you, so that at any point in time, because somebody can actually have a document that needs to be notarized, but there's no notarial statement on there, or they need it notarized and the notarial statement on there is so small that you can't effectively get your stamp on there. So, because a lot of times they don't want that stamp covering other information. So, and you can't just flip it over and stamp the back. So, what do you do instead? You have your all purpose acknowledgement. And that's one of the things that you need to have. It says, well, the bottom line is, and I was trying to find the document to pull it up to you, but the bottom, and that's why you need to look at the video I have called "What is a Notary Public," because the document is over there, and I just can't remember where I put it at on my computer. But anything that needs to be done, any document that a person feels that needs to be notarized that isn't outside of what your state says you can notarize. So each state has a thing that say, okay, you can notarize any document except for these. So if somebody came and said, hey, I'll have this agreement between me and this person to buy my car or to do such and such, and I want to have it notarized. Okay, that's an important document to that person. So you can say, okay, the document is whatever, doesn't matter to me what it is. And between you and Fred, y'all going to make this agreement, and you want the document notarized that Fred is saying you're in Virginia. Gotcha. So you look in the Virginia's handbook and it'll tell you what documents we can't notarize. So anything that's not in that doesn't fit what we can't notarize can be if a person needs it. If they need it notarized, you can have it could be any simple agreement. Like I told you, the lady had a document that she hand wrote saying, I am closing out this such and such bank account, this account with such and such bank, and here's the account number. She signed it, I notarized it, and that was it. And they needed that document notarized. So anything that a person feels is important to them can be notarized as long as it falls within the things that your state says you can notarize. So in Virginia, I know we can't do birth certificates, marriage certificates, and some other things. You don't do those items, but other documents you can. People come with documents that are financial documents. When the pandemic first happened, people came to me with documents saying, hey, I got to get this document notarized to get my 401k money out so we can live. It was a document that the bank or whoever their financial people said needs to be notarized. And that was to prove that they are the ones who said that they want this money. It wasn't, then the signature wasn't forged, which means the notary is doing what? Verifying their ID, making sure they are who they say they are, and that they're doing this of their own free will. And I've done a lot of them right in my garage when the pandemic first happened. People was coming over to my house left and right because they knew I was a notary, getting their financial documents notarized, because that's what Merrill Lynch, Fidelity, Prudential, Morgan Stanley, whoever they was dealing with, they needed those documents notarized before they was to go and release any money to them. Never knew that. And next thing I know, I'm making money doing that. I went to several signings during the pandemic, and I'm sitting there and the guy's like, hey, I need this document notarized. Can you notarize it for me? I'm there for his mother. And he was just sitting there like just waiting to ask me this question. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he told me, and I was like, bet, no problem. Yeah, do you stamp? I don't use a stamp that has the verbiage on it. You can, but I'm not one to be carrying around a bunch of stamps. That's not me. But you can stamp, and you can handwrite the verbiage on there. As long as you can actually handwrite the verbiage on there. Um, I don't have a stamp. Could I use one? Probably. I could. um, but I don't, you know. And then the question will be, if you have more, because in for Virginia, the name of the person who is signing the document or took the oath is a jurat. The name has to be in that notarial statement. So whatever document that you pull up, I mean, whatever. Let me see. Let me see if I can find something for y'all real quick, so you can understand. Well, I know what to do. I know what to do. I'll pull my Virginia handbook up. That'll be easiest to show you. Because in there they have examples of it. So let me show y'all this real quick. Let me pop that down and boom. So this is my Virginia handbook, page 12. So y'all can see Virginia Notary Public Handbook from 2021, page 12. All right. So page 12. So this is the certificate of acknowledgement. You clearly see the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me on this date by name of person seeking acknowledgement. In the story. For Virginia, we need to put their name in there. We have to have the date and the name. So you can use a stamp, but does the stamp allow you to put multiple people's names in it? If it does, cool. If it doesn't, then you might have to use that stamp, and that's where it can look messy, having that stamp on a document 5 or 6 or 7 times. So that's why I tend to go with the paper. And because the document, because people will say, well, that loose paper might get detached from it. So let me pull something else up for y'all real quick. And thanks y'all for hanging in here while we do this here quick training session. All right, so all right, so this here in this case, this here is a jurat, and with this jurat, Virginia, the county, the date, and the name of the people. So if it's 2 people, you can put 2 people's names there, and then down here it tells you, and this is optional, but I think it's very much needed. You put down here the type of document, the date of that document, and the name of the people who are signing that document. If there's anybody else, I'm sorry, if there's anybody other than that, that signed the document that couldn't fit on here, and then the number of pages. So if it's only 2 people, you would normally put none down here. And there's directions that come with this, which I don't have on this here one. But that's all you do. You put this here, and they can't. So if this does get detached away from it, it says what it is here. It says it's supposed to be for this document. Okay. So it's up to you, whatever you feel that is most appropriate for you to do. And you can get these from the NNA. Now, there are people out there that they don't use NNA ones and all that. It's up to you. Okay. Just as long as it meets your state requirements. And that is key. You got to make sure it's meeting your state requirement. If it's not meeting your state requirement, then that becomes a problem, whether it's a stamp that you have or a loose certificate. Okay. But you do need to have those available to you in order for you to be successful at notary, even if it is. So let me show you, even if it is, loan closings. So in this case here, I will show y'all this one. This one here is a corporate one, corporate acknowledgement for Virginia, state of, county, the date, my name, and then who came before me, names of corporate signers or signer, it could be just one. Close you down. and then corporate title of the signer, the name of the corporation. So this is one that we use, that you can use. Very similar. And that same information. And then here's the instructions on this one that you can go through, and it tells you what to do. Okay. It tells you. And the number one, and the most important is number 14 over here, that a lot of people tend to mess up. Number 14 here says number of pages in the notarized document. This may point out fraudulent additional or removal of pages. Do not count the certificate as a page, meaning don't count this certificate as a page to that. However, the certificate will be regarded as a page by the recording officials. So when you put down 4, you don't include the page, the certificate that you're adding to that. Okay, you don't, because they want to know the original document has how many pages? 17. If you put 18, including your certificate, they're going to be looking for 18 pages. That's what they're going to be looking to, because this is about the original document. Okay. So you got to take time out and look at this and read the instructions and not overthink it. Okay. Not overthink it. Yes, it is very, very easy to just like, oh, okay, well, number of pages. And yes, you could say it should be a little bit more clearer. However, they have a instructions here that breaks it all down for you. You get what I'm saying? So this is what you need to understand. All right. And I've done some teachings on this. And that's why I say, if you take time out and look at the videos that I have in my Notary Basic playlist, those videos, the one I talk about understanding acknowledgments and all of that, and just to go to cover this again, okay, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't seem to understand this very simple, basic thing for notaries. The state of and county of is where you are physically at the time you're doing the notarizations. So even if the printed document that you have says state of Florida, county of Jacksonville, but you're in Billings, Montana, you change that to be Billings, Montana. You could either line through it and initial, or you could just add your own all-purpose acknowledgement. Provided you can line through it, provided that the from Florida has the required elements that your state wants. If it doesn't have what your state wants, i.e. California, then you need to use your particular state acknowledgement. It's that simple. People see this. I'm in New York, the property's in Georgia. What do? What you do is what every notary does is you change the venue. This area here, the state county, is called the venue. Okay, the location. That's what you have to do. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. Okay, I'm serious. And notaries are tripping right now. Like, well, I don't know. Well, should I change the venue? Should I not? I don't know where you're getting your training from and who's telling you this stuff, but you need to change the venue. You're supposed to change the venue. Okay. And if you say that you're not supposed to, then you need to have some proof as to why you shouldn't. Not just, well, it don't seem right. That ain't good enough. Okay. You need to really say, okay, tell somebody. And this is where the mentor stuff comes in at. Okay. If your mentor who you're with isn't helping you, the number one thing that every mentor needs to make sure that they do, first of all, is help you understand how to notarize a daggone document. If that mentor ain't got nothing to say about helping you understand how to notarize a document, then you need to leave him or her alone. Because you're there as a notary, first of all. The only reason why you even in this space is because you're a notary, not because you're trying to market and make money. I don't care about you trying to market and make money. You're a notary. That's the only reason why we even doing this here. Because you're what? Notary. Not a loan signing agent, not a notary signing agent. Those are just little super cool special titles somebody made up. You are a notary. You got commissioned as a notary. You raised your hand for that. You did not raise your hand to be a loan signing agent. You did not raise your hand to be a notary signing agent. You did not raise your hand to be a general notary work specialist, loan closing specialist, executive closing agent, or none of that stuff that people tout. You signed up to be what? A notary. I probably shouldn't have said all of this on the end of his video. My bad, y'all. But this is just trying to educate people and show you that the importance of general notary work is within this here realm. I may have to cut this and and all that. And my apologies, Gary. But this is what I just want to help people to understand, because it is very, very important. And the reason why this part I'm talking about here is important is because when you go to someone like Gary or anybody else who has a signing company and they're looking for you, you knowing how to do this is going to be key, and it's going to help you get more business from that individual. It helps them out because you know what you're supposed to be doing. They're busy trying to get you business, and then you have to be able to do the business. Okay. And the business you have to be able to do is notarize the documents properly. So I'm going to leave it there. We had a great time. Hope nobody's upset about me adding my little spill on it at the end, but I think it was needed for everybody to hear. So thank y'all. Y'all saw the link in the in here for his book. And let me see where, yeah, here's his link for his book. So I will where is that? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing, y'all. So I will pin that to the top for y'all so y'all can see that. And I think we are good to go. And I do appreciate each and every one of you for coming on today. So yeah, that's pinned to the top. So go to the pinned comments. You'll see the link for his book. Thank y'all very much. I'll also put the link in the description of the video when this is over. I appreciate y'all. Y'all go have a safe day. Peace.